It's coming up to 4 o'clock. This is the scene in Dublin. Gerry Hutch leaving court, one of Ireland's most notorious criminals, today acquitted of the murder of David Byrne, who was shot dead in Dublin in 2016. Let's listen in.
He's innocent. He done nothing wrong. Go away. Leave the man alone. He's innocent. No, we know. He's innocent. He done nothing.
Gerry Hutch leaving court just under half an hour ago. He was cleared of that murder. It was all part of a gangland feud between Hutch and another gang. Stephen Murphy, our Ireland correspondent, has been following this case closely for us and can bring us more details in just a few moments' time. As you can see, it's a high-profile case, a lot of media there as he leaves court, as he was found not guilty of that murder. Just to remind you of this, the murder happened at a Dublin hotel in 2016. Gerry Hutch was standing trial accused of that murder. The man murdered was David Byrne. He was shot 6 times. It happened at a crowded boxing weigh-in event at the Regency Hotel in Dublin. You can see Stephen Murphy, our correspondent there, walking alongside Gerry Hutch with other journalists, trying to get a word from him after he was cleared. Now, the incident back in 2016 was one of the first deadly attacks of that feud. I was talking about the Hutch-Kinahan gangland feud in Ireland. This is a very high-profile case in Ireland. Gerry Hutch, a well-known man. The trial has been going on for 52 days at Ireland's non-jury special criminal court. Gerry Hutch himself didn't give evidence, and he has today been found not guilty. Separately, 2 men were found guilty of facilitating Byrne's murder. They were Paul Murphy and Jason Bonney, both charged with providing a motor vehicle to a criminal organisation. During proceedings, a former Sinn Féin councillor, Jonathan Dowdall, gave evidence as a prosecution witness. He was to stand trial for murder. Dowdall serving a 4-year prison sentence after he pleaded guilty to facilitating the murder of Mr Byrne. Hutch's defence team dismissed Dowdall's evidence as unreliable and flawed. As I said, the court has found Gerry Hutch, the man you see there, being followed by a pack of reporters. He has been found not guilty today of that gangland murder, the murder of David Byrne back in 2016 at the Regency Hotel in Dublin. So just to reiterate that breaking news, Gerry Hutch not guilty of murdering David Byrne at a Dublin hotel back in 2016. It was one of the first deadly attacks of the Hutch-Kinahan gangland feud in Ireland. Our Ireland correspondent, Stephen Murphy, is following Gerry Hutch. We will speak to him in a few moments' time. But Gerry Hutch there leaving court, followed by photographers and reporters getting into that taxi to take him away from court. A free man today. I think we can talk to Stephen now. We did see you, Stephen. There you are, talking to Gerry Hutch as he left court. Obviously, there's so much interest in this case in Ireland. What did he say, Stephen?
Yeah, so you're just looking at this sort of melee surrounding Gerry Hutch as he leaves court, a free man. It looked as though he was struggling to find a way out, but he has managed to flag down a taxi now and is driving away. Acquitted of the murder of Kinahan gang associate David Byrne, who was shot dead in that infamous attack at the Regency Hotel back in February 2016. This is the end, the somewhat chaotic end, of a 52-day trial. The Special Criminal Court, the building that you just saw Mr Hutch emerge from, home of Ireland's non-jury Special Criminal Court, used to try gangland and terrorist cases. There's no jury, so 3 judges. The lead judge, Tara Burns, was giving her decision over the course of the last few hours here. And a lot of doubt was shed in that decision on the witness, the key state's witness, Jonathan Dowdall, a former Sinn Féin councillor and an associate, a friend of Gerry Hutch. He turned state's evidence, and although he is now serving time for a lesser offence, he will now be placed into Ireland's state protection, witness protection scheme. But his evidence was the key plank of the state's case in this murder trial against Jerry Hutch. And during her summation, during the giving of evidence, the giving of the verdict here at the Special Criminal Court, the judge cast a great deal of scepticism on the evidence given by Jonathan Dowdall throughout that trial. And it was clear that they said a great deal of scepticism was cast over the character of Jonathan Dowdall, the key witness. And therefore, as she came to the end of the verdict, she found Jerry Hutch not guilty of the murder of David Byrne. And it should be said, I mean, you can probably get an idea just from the scrum, oh, they've all gone, from the media scrum that has surrounded Mr. Hutch as he left the case. This was a murder that really did rock Ireland to its very core. It was like something out of a Hollywood blockbuster. You had a SWAT team, a fake SWAT team, going into a boxing weigh-in event in broad daylight in a Dublin hotel, opening fire with AK-47s. It was believed they were looking for Daniel Kinahan, who has been named in court as the head of the notorious Kinahan cartel. They didn't find Daniel Kinahan, who has actually spoken of escaping the hotel, but they did manage to find somebody who was a lieutenant, a member of the Kinahan organisation. That was David Byrne. He was cornered in the hotel lobby and shot 6 times with rounds from the AK-47. As I said, a case that shocked Ireland. It was a case that escalated the burgeoning Kinahan-Hutch gang feud, and it turned parts of this city, the inner city here in Dublin, into an absolute war zone. 18 young men were dead by the time the murders petered out by around 2019. In October last year, this trial, which was billed as Ireland's trial of the century in some circles, got underway. 52 days of evidence. But the upshot of all of that is, just in the last few minutes, the judge has acquitted Jerry Hutch of murder. And as you just saw there, he walked free from this court.
Stephen, thank you. Stephen Murphy there with the latest from Dublin. Now, in other news.